South Africa is exploding. 8.1 million without work. 8,100,000 people without work. Not future shock, not prediction, official data. On May 12, 2026, Statistics South Africa reported that unemployment had jumped to 32.7% in the first quarter of the year. 345,000 jobs disappeared in 3 months. Youth unemployment hit 45.8%, and the expanded measure of labor distress reached 43.7%. This did not rise slowly. It erupted explosively. A labor market already under pressure suddenly cracked open. And the consequences are no longer only economic. They are social. They are political. Now they are visible in the streets. Before the numbers, 3 people. In a township outside Cape Town, a woman in her 50s sits in front of a spaza shop that used to be hers. She ran it for 11 years. Then the electricity cuts came. The generator cost more than the margins. She closed in March. Now she sells airtime from a fold-up table. In Pretoria, a graduate, the first in her family to finish university, sends her 43rd job application on a borrowed phone. Business administration degree, 3 years, no callbacks. She does not talk about the economy. She talks about the feeling of becoming invisible. In a minibus taxi heading toward Durban's harbor, a man checks his phone. No message from the agency. Again, he has been checking for 6 weeks. The fare today cost him the money he was saving for bread. He has calculated that he can do this for 11 more days before he has to stop looking entirely. 3 people, 3 cities, 1 number, 8.1 million. The numbers are brutal. Employment fell to 16.8 million. The number of unemployed people increased by 301,000. Discouraged job seekers rose by 178,000, reaching 3.9 million. The formal sector lost 189,000 jobs. The informal sector lost 127,000. Community and social services lost 206,000. Construction lost 110,000. Transport lost 30,000. This is what makes the crisis explosive. It did not hit one sector. It hit the system. Manufacturing added 38,000 jobs. Mining added 32,000. Agriculture added 10,000. But those gains were too small to stop the collapse elsewhere. That is the paradox. Parts of the economy still move. Society feels stuck. In the first quarter of 2026, the number of unemployed young South Africans rose to 4.7 million. Youth employment fell by 258,000 in a single quarter. Almost half of young people aged 15 to 34 who wanted work could not find it. This is not just unemployment. It is delayed adulthood, no income, no family formation, no independence, no route into the future. South Africa's labor crisis does not exist in a political vacuum. The ANC has governed for 30 years. Its coalition is fracturing. The MK party, Jacob Zuma's vehicle, took 14.6% in the 2024 elections. Pulling support directly from the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. The government of national unity holds together, but it holds together under pressure. And pressure has a cost. When political uncertainty rises, capital moves. Not loudly, not in speeches, quietly, through balance sheets, through project delays, through investment decisions made in Zurich, London, and Singapore. In 2024, South Africa recorded net capital outflows. Foreign direct investment remained well below pre-2015 levels. That means fewer factories, fewer warehouses, fewer jobs. And then there is Eskom. South Africa's state power utility spent years unable to keep the lights on. At peak load shedding, businesses ran on generators or closed. When the lights go out for 16 hours, small businesses don't pause. They close. And the jobs they held don't come back when the power does. Stage 6 load shedding costs the economy an estimated 4 billion rand per day. The lights are more stable now, but the damage is structural. The jobs that left during those years did not come back. When work disappears, pressure searches for a target. At first, people blame politicians, then institutions, then neighbors, then foreigners. South Africa's unemployment crisis did not create xenophobia from nothing, but it gave it fuel. Overcrowded clinics, overloaded schools, scarce housing, weak policing, vanishing jobs. When the lights go out and the job is gone and the house is a shack on a floodplain, the question stops being, where is the government? It becomes, who took what was mine? Into that vacuum step movement's promising order. Operation Dudula, South Africa first. Other anti-migrant groups. Their message is simple. South Africans first. Their method is more dangerous. Civilian patrols, document checks, pressure on migrant-owned shops, attempts to block access to public services. Campaigns against undocumented children in schools. This is the turning point. Protest demands action from the state. Vigilantism replaces the state. Dudula means pushback. The movement began in Soweto and grew by linking unemployment, crime, migration, and public service failure into one political story. Supporters say they are protecting citizens. Critics call it xenophobic vigilantism. Reports have documented forced searches, ID checks, blocked access to public facilities, and intimidation of migrants. France 24 described the latest wave as organized intimidation, citing illegal document checks, harassment, threats, and attacks in areas including Durban and Johannesburg. The people being targeted did not create South Africa's labor market. They did not destroy construction jobs. They did not cut public sector employment. They did not make transport unaffordable. They did not design the economy. But in a crisis, the system is invisible. The neighbor is visible. That is why this becomes dangerous so fast. Then came the global shock. The IMF warned in its 2026 outlooks that conflict and instability in the Middle East were feeding pressure through energy prices, transport costs, financial conditions, and inflation risk. For South Africa, this matters immediately because fuel is not just fuel. Fuel is the price of movement. Workers to factories, food to shops, children to school, goods from ports to cities. When fuel rises, everything downstream rises. And in a country where millions are already unemployed, every rand becomes political. A war far away does not stay far away. It arrives as taxi fares. It arrives as bread prices. It arrives as debt. It arrives as anger. This is the real story. Not only unemployment, trust collapse. When people believe the state cannot protect them, they create their own rules. When they believe courts are too slow, they create street justice. When they believe police are absent, they create patrols. When they believe jobs are stolen, they search for someone to expel. That is how a labor crisis mutates. First economic, then social, then tribal, then violent. South Africa is not there because of one number. It is there because millions of people no longer believe the system can absorb them. And when the economy stops offering a future, identity becomes a weapon. This is what makes South Africa's crisis so powerful and so frightening. This is not a country without wealth. South Africa has gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium, chromium, manganese, coal, ports, banks, mines, industrial capacity. And still, 8.1 million people are officially unemployed. And still, youth unemployment sits at 45.8%. And still, millions are outside the labor force. And still, a woman in Cape Town closes her shop because the lights went out. And still, a graduate in Pretoria sends application number 43. And still, a man in Durban counts down 11 days. This is the resource paradox. A country can be rich underground and broken above it. It can export minerals to the world while its own citizens cannot afford the fare to work. It can have global assets and local despair. It can have national wealth without national belonging. 8,100,000. That is not just the number of unemployed people. It is the size of the warning. When jobs vanish explosively, politics hardens. When prices rise, patience disappears. When the state loses trust, Next, the street starts governing. And when the street starts governing, the question is no longer only, can South Africa create jobs? The question becomes, can South Africa hold together while it tries? If that question stays with you, leave it in the comments. And if you want to be there when we put South Africa and Nigeria side by side, subscribe. That comparison is coming soon.